prospect. Jaron Elkins joins the show. First off, Jaron, just how's this season going for you early on? You're about 30 games in, Rancho Cucamonga Quakes, but just how are things going for you early on, my man?
They've been pretty good. Definitely starting to get rolling and liking how everything's feeling.
Yeah, and for you, I mean, everyone talks about just the combination of power and speed, and just when you just kind of look at footage of yourself, you just see that pop in the bat. Have you always had that power?
No, that's it definitely came on later in high school. Before that, I was a little smaller, definitely undersized, but the gym and football definitely helped.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was kind of looking it up. I mean, the football player aspect. I mean, I've had James Altman on the show kind of countless times, and he's told me just kind of being a football player out there, it's like he's going after ball like he's going after the quarterback as the middle linebacker. How has football kind of bled into your baseball game a little bit as far as just your aggression, your just overall approach?
Yeah, it's kind of just that bulldog mentality that carries over of, you're taking bases, you're showing up every day. It's a lot, and I feel like it's a huge part of who I am as a player.
Yeah, and everyone just kind of talks about you as a player, and just the word tools always gets mentioned when you're brought up. The ability to run, the ability to hit for power. How would you just kind of describe your game as a player?
Exciting, definitely. On any given day, there's no telling that, what I could do. That definitely excites me.
Yeah, and you went 6 for 14 over the weekend, a double, 4 RBIs, scored 3 runs, in 350 in May. What's been the biggest difference between you to start this season and kind of where you're at right now?
Getting comfortable. There's been a few swing changes that we made, but I think it's just settling in and knowing, what you can do and starting to see it.
Yeah, you talk about those stolen bases, 16 stolen bases. You lead your team in swipe bags this season. Always want to ask you, man, I just love watching guys steal bases. I mean, Trey Turner when he was here, Shohei Ohtani last year, going out there and stealing those bases. When you were growing up, was that always a part of your game? And was there any players you kind of modeled your base running after, guys that really stood out when it comes to base stealers?
There wasn't anybody in particular, but yeah, I've definitely always been one to just steal bags and get after it.
Yeah, just kind of what are you looking for out there? Just kind of your process of stealing bases, kind of reading moves, reading the pitch to the plate. Do you kind of just get that instinct, okay, I'm going to go, and just kind of take advantage of your raw ability, your raw talent that you do have?
It starts in our pregame. We've got a really good setup, and there's the guys that do swipe bags. We're all sitting in there, and we get depending on the pitcher, his tell, if he's like a deep breath, a hold, or what his count is. We know that going into the game, and makes it really easy to swipe bags when you know that.
Yeah, and it's certainly kind of one of those things where you kind of just look at the guys in the system and how they develop, and you hear so much about the Dodgers farm system. Even though they're going to the World Series, feels like every year, competing for a title every year, the system's really not designed for this team to have a great farm system, yet they're among the top 5 every year. Everyone talks about how great the development is. How have they helped you most since you've joined this Dodgers farm system?
Every way. They take a huge amount of pride in their players and their development, and there's coaches for everything. And I know this week we've got probably 5 more coaches coming in just to help with defense, hitting, bunting, whatever you need. And it's like there's no detail that's left out.
Yeah, I know it too. I mean, when you actually got linked up with this organization, just kind of a lot of guys is, hey, I want to get to the show, and it's a miracle statistically just to be with any big league team. But just kind of what goes through your mind when it's the Dodgers of all team, really the marquee franchise along with the Yankees in the sport, the team that really is the model franchise right now in Major League Baseball. Was kind of the first thing after saying, hey, I'm in the show as far as a team has drafted me, a Major League team, but then it's also the Dodgers. What kind of crossed your mind knowing it was them?
Yeah, it's an honor. The organization that has you and has the belief in you. But yeah, I mean, there's not much that goes into it other than just like it's exciting to know.
Yeah, and kind of you're just kind of getting up. I mean, you're not just like any football player. I mean, you were a really, really good, successful all-region running back. How much do you think that led to maybe you being a little more under the radar than, let's say, you're not a football player and you're kind of in those showcase events and that kind of stuff? Do you think that was a factor at all?
Yeah, definitely. You're not playing baseball year round if you're playing football. And then, during the summer, it definitely takes away because you're practicing with your team, and then you go and play on the weekends. But I've definitely thought about that, and I don't think I would change it at all. It's just football and playing other sports outside of baseball. It helps you so much.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where it's like dudes that play football, it's like those dudes have like the most dog on the diamond too. You kind of see that. And I think for you guys, like that usually translates to you guys being the best athletes too. And I think that in your case, you steal all the bases, you have the power. I think that, hey, if you had to do it the other way around, maybe you're not as good of a baseball player if it wasn't for that football background, and just kind of how that'll help you in your future. So, and from me as someone who covers his team, I almost like the fact that, hey, this guy did kind of fall under the radar. And if he wasn't playing football, he probably isn't on this team in this organization because he's probably drafted higher, right? So as Dodgers fans, selfishly, we're probably happy to know that. Now, as far as at the plate, we know you like to pull the ball, you like to lift the ball, you got that pop. What do you think is the biggest key, though, for you that you're focusing on right now, just to kind of take your game to the next level? What are you kind of looking to improve on early on this season?
Consistency, just the ability to go out there and stack days, because that's really what matters. Everybody can have a good game, but it's the ability to do it for a month, 2 months over the course of the whole season. That's definitely what I'm looking forward to doing.
Yeah, and you talk to some of these players at the minor league level, and they always tell me just going from A to AA to AAA, it's the pitching gets better and better and better, and you want to limit those strikeouts as much as possible. What do you think is kind of the biggest key to that? Is it just reps and experience and just kind of expanding your knowledge of just making the reads on pitches? Or what do you think kind of is the biggest key for a young hitter that clearly has the pop, clearly has that raw ability to kind of limit those strikeouts?
Yeah, I do think there's a part of it that is, it's just being around the game more. Your database is gonna grow, seeing more pitches and seeing better pitching. But yeah, you're around the game more. You learn what approach works for you, what you need to do, preparation. It's a bunch of stuff that goes into it. But yeah, they all play a part.
Absolutely. And as far as defensively, do you feel most comfortable in center field? And just how has that adjustment been, just continuing to play it at a higher level?
Yeah, definitely really comfortable in center field. But this year I played a lot of right, a lot of left. And I enjoy that, just being able to get out there and not being limited to one position. Love that.
Yeah, we know that in this organization, it's about positional versatility. You give them that optionality, you increase your chances of having a role for this team. I've been hearing Andy Pies talk a lot lately about, we know he's got the tools. He's got the plus arm, he's got the range, but making reads off the bat is very different in right field and left field versus reads off the bat in center field. You kind of talk to some scouts, they'll say, you almost kind of feel like a knuckleball in a way coming off the bat. What can you tell me about that? I'm just curious, is kind of what that's like. Because we know you have all the athleticism to get to any ball, but how different is it from a read standpoint, making that read off the bat, playing center versus right and left?
Yeah, it's a little more confined, but the main difference is just the knowing with like a righty, you're going to get a little more righty slice towards the line. But then on those pop-ups, like playing in stadiums, you get a high pop-up down the line, that ball is going to fade back over your head. So just knowing that, keeping that in mind, because center field, you're not getting crazy ball flight like that. And you also have a lot more space to work with.
So it's really about that initial instinct, right? That initial jump. I mean, I remember talking to Gavin Lux about this. He was like, man, if you gave me like 1 extra second to know where I'm going, I'd always get there. But it's that first step in, first step out, that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's great to kind of hear stuff like that. Now, as far as your short-term and long-term goals, what would you say is your number one goal this season for you down with the Quakes?
Just perform and stay healthy. That's about all that I can control. And that's kind of how I look at it.
And then kind of anything kind of specifically as far as just anything like hitting wise or defense wise, just kind of mainly health and just getting that experience.
just health and experience. I know the numbers and all that will come as long as I'm healthy and I'm out there every day.
I love it. And then long term, you can go any way with this. I had Jackson Ferris on the show a couple months ago, and he certainly was the boldest. I said, hey, what's your long-term goal? It wasn't to make it to the show to be an all-star. He said DMAC is to be a Hall of Famer. Okay, so you can say that if you want, but I don't know. I mean, what would you say your long-term goal is? To make it to the show, everyday player? You just kind of want to take it step by step. Just curious to see kind of where your mindset is with a question.
Long-term is, I'm not going to say a Hall of Famer, but, I'd be lying if I wasn't shooting for that. And, I think where I want to see myself is as an everyday player, whether that's with the Dodgers or, whoever else. I can't control that. But, yeah, that's what I would like to do.
I love that. Jaron Elkins and Jackson Ferris headlining the 2045 Cooperstown Hall of Fame class. So I definitely want to see that. Both going in as Dodgers legends. That's exactly what we want to hear. Okay, so some questions I have for you too. Hyesuk Jung, your teammate, a lot of talk about him. The Dodgers, of course, have had so much success with international prospects. Hiroki this offseason. Jung was before that. What's your read on him? Have you faced him at all? I mean, how would you describe his stuff? I mean, lots of hype around him.
Yeah, I haven't got to face him in any lives, but he's a funny guy.
That's cool.
He's really funny. And we kind of got down with the Dodgers at the same time, and he did not speak any English. But now, like, you walk in the clubhouse and you can hear him loud and clear. Like, he's got on quick.
Yeah, that's my thing too. Is like my whole thing is like for any of these players, like your English is better than my Japanese. Your English is better than my Spanish and Korean and stuff like that. But I'm always amazed by how quickly these guys can pick up on it. And when the cameras aren't around, the reporters aren't around, the fact they joke around so easily, it's really cool to see. And I can totally see that. How would you kind of describe like kind of funny stuff that he does? Just like his personality?
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely his personality and just how he carries himself. It's really funny.
That's awesome. All right, so we're going to get you out here. Some quick rapid fire questions. First one, really easy. Who's your favorite player growing up?
Yadier Molina.
Yadier Molina. That's a nice pool. I like that. We get a lot of Trouts. We get a lot of stuff like that, but I like the Molina pool. Legend for sure. Okay. Yeah. Favorite team growing up?
Cardinals.
I was about to say, you mean you're from Tennessee. Yeah. That's Cardinals country, right, for a lot of people there. So, yeah, now you got to wear the blue, not the red. They're kind of like the Dodgers. I feel like they're kind of one of their rivals in the NL because they're both, two of the best teams in the history of this league. But I'd love to hear that. Okay, if you weren't a baseball player, what would you be doing?
It's tough. Yeah, I guess Army.
The Army, awesome. I was gonna say, hey man, NFL running back. Who knows, man? I mean, just Maybe. Going in there, getting some carries. Okay, best food that you can cook.
Steak.
Cooking that steak. How you like your steak? Medium well. How do you like it?
Medium rare.
Medium rare. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Favorite fast food.
Does Chipotle count?
Chipotle count. Not only does Chipotle count, it's also the answer for 90+% of all players on the minor leagues that come on here. So the question is, what do you get Chipotle? Burrito bowl or a chicken? I mean, do you go burrito?
I get a bowl with a side tortilla.
That's the way to do it. You basic game the system, and then you feel better about dropping like $50 on some guacamole. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
My goal is to go into Chipotle one day and then after I order guacamole, for them not to tell me that it's more. Like, they'll just know that I can handle it. You know what I mean? I always feel offended. Like, sir, that's more money. I'm like, yes, I get it. When I can't afford a guacamole, but that's just me. Okay, favorite baseball movie?
Sandlot.
Can't go wrong with Sandlot, man.
Yeah.
I always do wonder if they had just gone and rang the doorbell and said, can we get our ball? Like, it could have been over, and he would have probably been a nice guy, but incredible adventure. Okay, which current Dodger are you most looking forward to meeting one day?
Gotta say Shohei.
Gotta say this show, man.
Yeah.
Did you see that home run he hit on Friday?
I did not.
Oh,
no.
It was an 11-11 game. It was a wild game. He comes up in there in the ninth, hit the 3-run shot, raised his arms. It was everyone was saying he was trying to troll Gurriel, but yeah, just an incredible moment. Okay, if I get your Mount Rushmore of baseball outfielders
In the game right now?
just all time, your favorite.
All right. Go Trout, Griffey, and then who else we got? I got Ichiro, and then I guess I got to put Judge in there.
That's a valid list. That's a valid.
Yeah.
Dodgers fans everywhere are gonna love that you didn't throw Bonds in there. So they're gonna.
No, I that definitely crossed my mind, but
they're gonna. But it's an objective. That's the thing about this show. We are the kind of keep it 100 Dodgers show. So like, if you want to say Bonds, feel free to do that. So no worries there.
No, I definitely can't. We've had too many meetings about that.
Yeah, no, I totally get. Okay, what was your first car?
Chevy Silverado. I still drive it.
Chevy Silverado. What color?
Silver.
Silver? That's a banger. It's a classic. Okay, last one for you. What is the best piece of baseball advice that you've ever received from anyone, whether it be a coach in Little League, a coach with the Quakes, something that just always kind of sticks in your mind? What is the best piece of baseball advice Jaron Elkins has ever received?
There's been a lot. I've definitely got some bad advice.
Okay, forget it. I'd rather hear the bad advice.
Yeah. It's I'm not. Do you know Adam LaRoche?
Yeah, absolutely.
Tombo Martin. I actually can't even say it. But just know it wasn't great advice. But I think the best advice that I actually got from Adam LaRoche was, it was leading up to this draft. He was like, there's some big decisions that you got to make, and the only advice is, your plan B is your plan A. And if you want to do this, that's what your mentality has to be.
That's awesome stuff. Next time you come on the show, we'll get the bad advice. I'm excited for that one, but I love that. You don't need a plan B. You just go all in on plan A, put all your eggs in the plan A basket, and that's what will happen. It'll work out. I love to hear that. And we know that your plan A is to be in the show, making MLB All-Star teams, being in the Hall of Fame one day with Jackson Ferguson. We thank you so much for joining us here on Dodgers Dugout Live, my man, and have a great rest of your season. And we'll check in with you later in the year, my man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.